Bets show hosted by BetRivers. We are the three-man weave. It's Sunday. We love these Sunday shows. We get in early before the NFL kicks off. Talk college basketball. I'd rather watch college basketball than the NFL.
Would you?
I don't know about you, Jim.
That's surprising for me to hear.
That's true. I was a St. Louis Rams fan back in the day. No longer. Matthew Cox. Jim, how are you doing? Any takeaways from yesterday? Obviously a very big Saturday. Best bets 0-3. Not our best showing. That's okay. We bounce back. We always do.
Always bounce back. I got 3. First, real quick. I've been on Field 60. I'm on a 12-hour schedule now. Yesterday morning, after dark last night, this morning. I don't know why they're trying to actively lose followers and lose viewers, but, I'm back. That's okay.
It's a tough strategy.
Second, Alabama's guards are incredible. They put Gonzaga's defenders on skates. Incredible performance by the Tide. Matt might go into that more. But third, guys, what is Penny Hardaway doing? Did you read his quotes?
Now, there are more quotes? No, I missed the quotes yesterday. Even more damning than the ones we saw after the...
Like, worse. They read like he was deranged. He gave an interview to Seth Davis after the game yesterday. And one of them was, if I was playing the 5 guys that cared, we'd be undefeated. Like, well, do that. You're the coach. And
did he say who cared? Did he say which ones cared and which ones didn't care?
He basically called out the upperclassmen. He was like, oh, these guys are grumpy because the young guys are coming in and getting the hype and getting more minutes. It's like, the young guys have been bad. Wouldn't you be upset if you were a team that went to the NIT title and won it and you brought in Imani Bates and he goes 1 for 10 with 0 assists and 3 turnovers? Like, that's not great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt,
that team doesn't make any sense. But we kind of all saw that coming, I think. Yeah, Kai, I attended the Loyola DePaul game as I discussed on yesterday's show. So my takeaway is directly related to that. It was sort of a microcosm of there are just some programs in college basketball that get it, and then there are others that don't. And even though DePaul snaked a stupid cover and had a nice little run at the end of the half, just the entire experience was like there's so many check the box examples of, oh, Loyola has like as many fans as DePaul does here. They're like all have the scarves. There's just more of a cohesive group. Just everything makes sense. And then you look at the product on the floor. They're all playing cohesive, well-organized basketball. DePaul has no semblance of an offense whatsoever. And sure enough, when it comes down to crunch time, the team that executes wins and the team that doesn't. And it's just sort of a deja vu. Here we go again type of feel to DePaul's story arc for the season, Kai. Was a little upset. I'd like to see DePaul climb that ladder, but until they have some organization and I don't know, just general cohesiveness in what that program is and what it wants to be, this is what DePaul is going to be. So sorry, DePaul alumni out there. And the $2 beer line, we got to get something more efficient than that. I can't wait an hour for a beer. It's a 2-hour game. I can't spend half the game waiting for a $2 beer. Do I need a $2 beer? Maybe I don't, but let's say I want to wait. I don't need to wait an hour. It's horrible.
Concourse is bad at Wintrust.
Wintrust design is terrible.
Crowd, good, bad.
It was okay. I thought it was be a little better. It got the juice picked up as the game grew on. A lot of late, slow trickle in fans, to be honest. So it was kind of bummer to not see everyone in the seats before tip. But what can you do?
It's the Dan Ryan traffic, man. What are you going to do?
It's brutal, nonstop, 24/7. Jimmy, that's right.
All right. Well, let's talk basketball today. You don't need my takeaways from yesterday. Xavier is going to Oklahoma State. It's 4 at BetRivers in favor of the Cowpokes. Jim, Zach Fremantle's back. He played 7 minutes against Central Michigan. I think the Xavier team could take off pretty soon. They've impressed me without him. Him coming back in the lineup seems to be only good things. And Oklahoma State hasn't looked great coming off that Wichita State loss.
Yeah, their offense was putrid against Wichita State. Like terrible, something like 0.8 points per possession. That's no good. I'm intrigued to see what happens with especially on the Okie State defensive end. They haven't really zoned much this year. 95% man-to-man. Last year, it was over 30% zone. Like that was their big defensive scheme, was the matchup stuff. Really tricky to play against. They've been awesome defensively, so I get why. But Xavier's been really bad against zone this year. 11th percentile on 68 possessions, like a pretty decent sample size. So I kind of think Boynton should bring it back. That might frustrate what Xavier wants to do. But, man, if they're playing man, I kind of think this game's going to be faster than projected. Both teams really, really quick offensively, 36th and 77th in average possession length. So might be a little more transition than expected. Pretty low total. I'm leaning towards the over despite the low total.
Yeah, I kind of agree, Jim. I thought that number was a little bit low and it's been bet down. So some people disagree with us. So if you believe what me and Jim are putting down, now's the time to hop in at 133. I think Oklahoma State actually has a little bit of an advantage in their front line. With Musa Cisse and with Caleb Boone starting to get back in the rotation. Matthew Alexander Moncrief has been a monster. I think they actually can dominate Xavier, who is a team that notoriously physical, tough up front. This year, I just don't see that same type of identity. I know Fremantle's back.
Shade at Nunji. Nunji's been awesome.
Nunji's been really good.
He's been good, but I think I like the athleticism, the bounciness, the elasticity of the Oklahoma State front line. I think that bothers Fremantle and Nunji. We haven't really seen a front line like this year. Obviously, they just dominated Central Michigan, but that team's a complete dumpster fire. That game was never competitive. I could be selling short the fact that Xavier now has their full semblance of pieces back. I do like the Pokes. Unfortunately, it's climbed to -3.5, Kai, so I won't emphatically endorse it. I think 3 or lower would be a good price to take the Pokes.
Hey, Nunji had 14-14 against Ohio State. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There.
That's fair.
It's a huge home spot for Oklahoma State, and their defense, Jim, you mentioned, they're 7th best in the country per KenPom. The defense is doing nothing wrong. The turnover rate is something that stuck out to me. Xavier's 268th, Oklahoma State's 7th on the other end. Maybe they force some turnovers in Gallagher-Iba Arena. Matt, a great place to play, great place to watch a game. I hear. I'd love to get down there. It's a spot lean towards Oklahoma State. I just think Xavier's playing so much more better right now. I can't really lay any points to Oklahoma State.
Also, another spot where it's that non-con big tilt where we've seen the homes play very strong. So do not disrespect home. Anecdotally,
it seems like the home teams are doing better against the spread in those situations. I don't have the numbers to back that up though. Maybe
I know it's bad show prep by us. I should have pulled those.
Bad prep. UNC is going to Georgia Tech for an ACC battle, the first ACC game for both of these teams. Georgia Tech, Matt, still has 0 good wins. North Carolina is riding high off the Michigan domination. Georgia Tech's one of those teams that can shoot. 16th best 3-point percentage in the country, and they have one of the best scorers in the country in DeVoe. They don't really prioritize it. It's weird. They're 316th in 3-point attempt rate. Curious if that goes up against a UNC team that really has the size to lock down the paint.
Yeah, I kind of think it's a little bit fraudulent, the shooting, although you mentioned it's on low volume. So it's not like they have a bunch of guys draining threes. It's essentially DeVoe and then the freshman Dallin Coleman, who's shot the ball pretty well. Like that they got Davion Smith back last game, similar to the Xavier thing. You're getting a team that's coming into their second game with most of their true nucleus intact, although we know that Bubba Parham is still out for Georgia Tech. I think he's a key booster that will really help when he comes back here, Jim. I kind of like UNC. It feels like a trappy spot, maybe in a hype home road game against a G-Tech team that can sort of throw a wrench in your offensive fluidity. But I think North Carolina is a good buy low in general. And an early conference game, I don't think you're at risk of getting a flat letdown spot. I think you'll get a motivated group. Now, can they solve the zone is the question.
That was I kind of I feel like I always end up in themes on the show with my discussion, but zone is where I'm at on this one. Georgia Tech's playing it like over 30%. It's tricky. It's like the 1-3-1 matchup thing. Obviously, it's Hubert Davis's first season, so we don't have any real track record with him against it. But I kind of think they have the pieces to deal with it. They've got shooting this year. They've got skilled bigs, smart bigs that can actually make reads. Manic can step out. Boston Garcia can step out. They can get on the offensive glass, Kai. I think that's always a vulnerability against zone. So I like UNC here as well. Not quite enough to back it where they're at right now, but just kind of gut lean towards the heels. Kai, your Tar Heels.
Yeah, I got off the bandwagon one game too early against Michigan. Man, I was on almost every game. They weren't really covering for me, but I leaned their way, Jim, here. Conference play is different. This is definitely a situation where Georgia Tech can just stand up, get a win at home. It's one of those teams that tends to do that, right? They play big against big competition.
Yeah. I mean, just look at last year. I'm pulling up the box score. 18 turnovers, 26% turnover rate for the Tar Heels. Caleb Love did not play particularly well, so hopefully he's learned a lesson or two. But if you're just looking, he's better. So hopefully he'll play.
Completely different player. Yeah.
Yes.
To the Big Ten we go for 2 matchups here. Northwestern at Maryland. The big news, of course, Matt, that came out yesterday on our show, during our show. Danny Manning takes over for Mark Turgeon.
It was Thursday or something, wasn't it? Friday?
Thursday?
Something like that.
Yeah. Time to flat circle. It was not yesterday? That's wild.
It was 2 days ago. That's right. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Matt, Danny Manning doesn't feel like an upgrade over Mark Turgeon, which seems like that's saying something. How do you like Manning in his first game against Northwestern?
I don't. there could be the only angle you could maybe convince me of, Jim, is that usually when I feel like in college football, this anecdote holds where you have like a new assistant take over after a coach gets fired, the team kind of rallies around him, gets up and plays in a big spot unexpectedly. Maybe we see a similar type of effort from Maryland today. The early money implies that they could be buying into such a narrative. It opened at 4, now sitting at 5, 5.5. I'm looking to come back on Northwestern potentially. If I see Chase Audige in the lineup, I believe he's a game time decision. I got to think he's out again, though. It seems like they've been playing at Coy all year and he still hasn't debuted. I think he's a key part on both ends for the Purple Kittens.
I think he's key. I agree. But first game back makes me a little nervous with him. Yep. Like maybe he's not even going to play that much. If he does, like the Fremantle thing, he's back and he plays 7 minutes, not really impacting the game. I lean your way with Northwestern, but I am not punching against the market right now. It's just not something I'm in the mood for. I tracked some of my anti-market stuff yesterday and it did not do well. Yeah. So I will just say I have a lean to Northwestern, but I can't fully recommend it. The Maryland thing is so weird because it felt like it's Turgeon not wanting, like it was mutual, like very much. I think a part of it was him wanting to step down and being sick of the fan flack. And how do you feel as like a player? Like your coach kind of quit on you in the middle of the season. Is that something that hypes you up to prove him wrong, prove the haters and the doubters outside the locker room? Or is it like, well, shit, we've already lost 3 games. What's the, like, it's almost deflating. Like it's a weird dynamic, I think.
That's why I get to stay away. It's a stay away for that reason for me. This could go a million different ways, I guess. Maybe some in-game betting, some volatility plays in your favor. I don't know. Kai, what do you think?
It's hard to get in the mindset. I think most people would assume it'd be a bad thing for Maryland, but I thought it would have the opposite effect, Matt, to your point, college football. In game 1, the team rallies around him. The crowd rallies around Danny Manning. I was surprised to see it get bet up. I kind of liked Maryland at -4 with no Audige for Northwestern. Northwestern is just a team I'm still not buying, really. Pete Nance played amazing against Wake Forest. I just think Maryland has a ton of answers for him on the defensive end. And Fats Russell, for all the flack he gets on offense, he's a terrific defender, especially on the ball, and he can lock up Boo Buie. So you stop Buie and Nance, Northwestern scoring gets pretty bleak. So I actually lean Maryland here. And next game.
Terp. Always a Terp. This guy. I tell you.
Always a Terp. Oh, yeah, sure. Ohio State at Penn State. We're staying in the Big Ten. Ohio State, Matt, coming off the Duke win. Still maybe no Justice Suing in the lineup. Didn't really seem to matter against Duke. Penn State's been, can we say, a lot better? LSU overtime, killed the Beavers.
Yeah.
Lost at home to Miami. I don't really know what to think of them, I guess, quite yet. Spread's around 5 right now at BetRivers, I do believe. What do you think?
I'm a Penn State guy. I got off the main wagon. Now I'm sort of climbing back on slowly, but treading lightly, knowing that they didn't look very good in a few early games that disappointed me. I'm a little bit torn here. The LSU game really is what impressed me. I thought they defended well. They weren't overly bothered by LSU's pressure. But I mean, they have to guard a pretty stout front line here. And I think that's where they're actually a little bit weak. I know John Harar's our boy and we love him and he gets, he's productive on the glass, but EJ Liddell's a different animal. Zed Key's been phenomenal. I just don't think they have enough horses. Jim, it feels similar to the UNC spot we just talked about, where it's a short road favorite early in the conference season that I think you're not at risk of getting a letdown type of effort from Ohio State. I think you'll get a really good game from them. And for that reason, the line does feel a little bit short, but as Kai mentioned, it's now up to 5. So it's climbed a little bit out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, I wrote that as well. Like, possible letdowns is the first one after Duke, but first conference game too. It's like, it'd be surprising to see them lay a stinker in that sense. The Liddell thing, the matchup is a problem. Like Harar's probably the best guy to guard him, but then you have Lundy on key, and that's just going to be like a feast at the rim. So you have to probably throw Lundy at him, and that's not going to go well either. Liddell's going to destroy him. I am very concerned in that department as well. I don't know if Ohio State makes enough shots. Like their perimeter shooting doesn't get me excited. They got a couple key buckets from Cedric Russell against Duke, but I'm not sure how sustainable that is. He's good, but he's not 3 for 3 every game good. And this one's going to be really slow. Like the 283rd in average possession length for Ohio State, 354th for Penn State. It's projected at 63 possessions. So like it's almost harder to play slower than that, but there's a possibility that it is. And then for a total, you're kind of just betting on efficiency at this point. So I would lean towards the under, but I mean, Ohio State could score 1.2 points per possession here.
Yeah, it's a slog. I lean towards the under as well. I don't think Penn State scores very well against them, Matt. You mentioned John Harrar and the Ohio State's guards. They guard the perimeter well. I don't think Penn State really has a clear avenue towards scoring. Spot says Penn State. Matchup lies with Ohio State at 5. I am staying clear away. And with that, let's go to our chat mob round 1 questions. I think Matt's the czar.
I am.
I know Jim's doing an audit. We'll see what Matt's got first.
Yeah, and I may need him to audit me. A lot of chatter. Appreciate the Sunday engagement. Kind of scoffing at NFL Sunday, which is great. It's what we want to see. Some NFL defectors and CBB adopters. Oh, yeah, I guess it has. Charleston, Tarleton, a question from the Leg Show magazine, one of our most loyal listeners. Charleston Southern versus Tarleton. Who controls the tempo in this game, Kai?
Yeah, well, so that comment made me do a double take on Charleston Southern's tempo because normally they're not a super fast team. They're 13th in the country in tempo.
They're running this year.
They are running like crazy this year in Radabow. The answer in every single Tarleton matchup, though, is Tarleton.
Yeah.
They
will control the tempo. I actually really like the under in this game.
They held Gonzaga to 65 possessions, Michigan to 63, Kansas to 66. Like every game with them is a grind.
It's their game.
They cross half court and just like stand for 20 seconds basically, and then they can force turnovers. Charleston Southern is sloppy with the ball. I think Tarleton's going to have long stretches where like Charleston Southern just doesn't shoot. So I would lean towards the under. I think because it projected at 68. Tarleton has played one game over 66 this year, and it was against Paul Quinn, non-Division One. I don't see them running here.
Yeah. So I guess the one thing, not to belabor this, but Tarleton State, I don't think has been a favorite this year, and they're a big favorite. Maybe their mindset shifts to where like, we can run with these guys.
That's a great point.
Yes, agreed.
That worries me a little bit for the total.
Yeah, I kind of want to sit and watch this game to see and like basically document, okay, how does Tarleton State play as a favorite? And you have 2 split personality type of teams here. Kind of an obscure game on the extra board here, Jim.
Nothing's obscure.
True. I apologize. And I just offended Troy and Southeastern Louisiana for calling them obscure, but that's a question. The second question in the chat mob. I don't really have a strong take here, Jim. I know both teams have roster rotational issues. Duke Miles, the key guy for Troy. Mm-hmm. Without him, I don't like backing that team. But Sealaw's not been great either.
Yeah, I kind of like Sealaw. I've been sort of in on their roster as maybe the second best in the Southland behind Nichols.
Yeah.
They haven't been awesome. So I agree with you there. But if Miles is out, he had a monster game and then immediately disappeared from the lineup again for Troy. So I would still lean towards the Lions on the road as the dog, but I mean, it's hard to trust them right now, Kai, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep. Lean their way. Another team I was higher on, Jim, preseason. They'll be really good in the Southland. 6.5, maybe a little bit too low for me, Matt.
Fair point. Would love 7.
Yeah.
7's a key number. Western Illinois, Central Michigan, Kai. Central Michigan's a bad basketball team. I don't really have much else to add here. And Western Illinois continues to shatter our constantly adjusted expectations.
Yeah.
Feels like a high number. To ever see Western Illinois favored at Central Michigan just doesn't sit well with me. But based on the performance to date, makes sense.
This is the I'm tired of betting on Central Michigan. I'm tired of fading Western Illinois thing. So I'm staying clear away. 5.5. Yep. Does seem high, but I totally believe it the way these two teams are playing right now.
Weird spot because Western Illinois played a home game yesterday. And
back
now they're
back.
at Central Michigan with an early tip here. So I would probably lean towards Central Michigan, but it's like a hold your nose, Western Illinois rocks type of bet. You're hoping the spot plays up here because that's what you need.
I took it small just because of the spot. But to play anything more than a small, teeny tiny play on Central Michigan is a fool's errand at this point. I don't know what that team's identity is in complete disarray.
Giving up layups is their identity.
And so, that's not a good one. That's not one you want to hang your head on. Typically, you want to prevent layups, I believe. That's what the analytics will tell you, at least. An Ivy question. The Ivy struggled yesterday, Jimbo. Brown, Sacred Heart, the Bears, sort of a weird non-con game. I know conference play starts up for a few of these squads this upcoming week. Do you think they bounce back and, punch back on behalf of their Ivy brethren that sort of faltered yesterday?
This line's gone up and I'm surprised. It's up to 9 at BetRivers, and Brown was without their starting point guard, Dan Friday, last game. And I think he matters. Like, they still covered, but I think that's going to show up a little bit more today. I would lean towards Sacred Heart here. I think they're kind of feisty as an underdog. It's a in-state game, I believe. So, it's not like Sacred Heart's going to lay an egg against someone they perceive as a rival. I'm leaning towards another bad day for the Ivy, Matthew.
Sacred Heart's in Connecticut. Browns in Rhode Island.
Oh, thank you.
But
Appreciate
that's
it.
okay.
Oh yeah, it's a Connecticut.
It's a New England
rivalry.
New England rivalry.
Northeast corridor rivalry. Right.
Yes.
Ryder Marist. Let's talk some conference play real quick. We'll get back to the outline here shortly. Kai, Ryder, not a team we like. No. Marist continues to have a strong season. Basically the second straight in a row under John Dunn, doing a phenomenal job there.
Yes.
Feels like a good spot to maybe buy low, sell high, but that implies you think Ryder's actually a competent basketball team beneath the surface, and I'm just not there. Baggett doesn't know what he's doing. He's sort of playing a lot of zone this year. He's trying to go, flying by the seat of his pants, it seems, not touching Ryder.
Yeah, I don't think Ryder's good. I think John Dunn's maybe the best coach in the conference. Okay, top three, whatever.
Rick Pitino, how dare you?
Rick Pitino 1, Dunn 2, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys for that 2 spot.
A lot of good coaches in that conference. There are.
We're down to 1 right now, +1 at BetRivers. Too low for me. I liked the 2. I wanted the 2 for Marist, but I lean their way still. I think they
probably super low scoring game the way Marist controls tempo, I would think. So.
Yeah, they're just so much better coached.
Last one here, another extra board 1, stay in the Northeast corridor. Hartford trailing 2, St. Francis, New York, St. Francis, Brooklyn, the Terriers, Jim. Line's been bet down. Hartford -3, now to Hartford -1.5, 2. I kind of like Hartford. I know they have injury issues, but man, that's a short line against a St. Francis, Brooklyn team I'm not really in on this year.
Yeah, St. Francis has been kind of bad. This is another sort of hold your nose for me, where if Hartford without Kimbrough and Clayton has been not good. So I lean towards St. Francis, but I want that 3. The 3 is nice just because, they could probably blow this late and lose by a bucket.
Yeah.
But Hartford's probably, they're better coached. I don't know. They have more talent, at least, even without those 2, but I haven't been impressed with them without Clayton and Kimbrough. So keep an eye on the lineup there.
Agree. All right. Back to the rundown, Mr. McKeon.
Let's do it. Richmond at Northern Iowa. A great mid-major matchup here. Does the home court theory apply to this one? I don't know. I don't know if we're going down into the mid-major realms, but it's a huge game for you and I, who is finally healthy, Matt, though they took a tough loss to Bradley to kick off Missouri Valley play. Richmond's likely blown its chance for an at-large. They've lost all their big games: Utah State, Drake, Maryland, Mississippi State. I'm worried about you and I getting picked apart defensively because I watched that Vermont game and there was absolutely no resistance. And I know Richmond is liable to do the exact same thing, but Northern Iowa can shoot. There's always a fighter's chance there. They take some of the most threes in the entire country. I'm actually leaning towards Northern Iowa. If they flip to a favorite, I would not take them as a favorite.
I'm actually leaning the Spiders now that it has flipped to a favorite. I think Richmond is sort of a sleeping giant. I might be overstating that, but they've gotten a bad reputation this year because of these late game meltdowns. But you look at the broad resume, it's been pretty impressive. I mean, beating Wofford handily at Wofford, I thought was really, really nice. I mean, they took Mississippi State to overtime, a team that's, I think, starting to surge a little bit. The Maryland game, Jim, and the MTE, they were up big in that, just blew a lead. And their other losses are Drake by 3, and then Utah State, who's been a mini juggernaut out there in the West too. So Richmond, I think, is better than the resume shows. I kind of like the Spiders here.
I'm very torn here. AJ Green is super back. He has 30 and 35 in his last 2 games. Like, if you're getting hot AJ Green, you got to feel decent about Northern Iowa at home. But again, he had 30 in a game that they lost to Bradley. So not the best of performances there. Yeah. UNI's defense is alarming, and Richmond's execution with their experience, that's pretty huge. I saw John Rothstein tweet that Jacob Gilliard can break the steals record today. So that's kind of a cool awesome little thing to watch. Keep an eye on there for Richmond. But as far as betting it goes, maybe lean towards the over, because I think both offenses can score.
Yep.
Yeah. And also these 2 teams did play last year. Just to know, Richmond took care of business at home.
Northern Iowa was a completely different team last year.
They are. No question.
I'm thinking about the right one. Yes. Next game, Kansas State at Wichita State. Don't look now, Jim, but Wichita's resume is getting a little solid. A win at Missouri. Okay. That's probably still
a huge win. A resume builder.
Q2 for now. They beat Oklahoma State. They got a semi-road win against UNLV. That overtime loss to Arizona looks immense right now. They just fight, scrap, claw. But they're 2 and 3 as a favorite. Clearly not as good as that in that scenario. And Kansas State's kept it close to against a couple good teams. Which way do you lean in this game?
Yeah, I perceive Kansas State as better as a dog as well. Thankfully, this is like a short line. Like sure. Wichita minus 15 or whatever is not something I'm looking to back. But minus 4, I don't dislike it. I think the Shockers are like you said, kind of rising. I've been very impressed with them. This one is not on campus. It's at Intrust Arena in Wichita, not the Charles Cook Roundhouse insanity. Maybe that doesn't matter because Wichita fans are still going to pack the place, but I would have loved for it to be at Roundhouse.
Yeah.
Wichita fans travel extremely well.
Yes.
And they don't have to travel. Right. Like it's going to be a madhouse still, but not the same brand of it. I don't know. I still like the Shockers here. Kansas State, Matt, I'm just not totally on board with them. They might be the worst team in the Big 12 now. I think they are actually.
Yeah.
Iowa State's good.
They are too.
Yeah. They've still, I mean, top 75 in KenPom, they're climbing slowly. I've been a stubborn believer in the Kansas State team the last 2 years. I just don't love that Marquise Knoll is playing so much for this team. I know he's actually played very well for once. Great. He's actually been really good. It's just something about the chemistry of that backcourt I don't love with him and my boy Nigel Pack, and then your former boy Mark Smith with the threesome there along with Mike McGurl. I don't know. I'm sort of I kind of want to pull back from my early K-State love and just sit and watch. I think Wichita State's probably the right side if you have to play something here, but I made the numbers. I think the price is pretty accurate, so no play for me.
Both teams are small, and so like they're not really going to take advantage of the other's lack of interior presence.
Underlean for me. I don't think either one scores too much in this game. And I like Wichita's guard defenders against Noel. I think they can bother him a little bit. All right, 2 Pac-12 games to finish off the rundown before Chat Mob round 2.
2 Pac.
Best bets.
2 Pac.
2 Pac-12.
Yeah.
Arizona at Oregon. They're very similar name too. Arizona at Oregon State to start us off. Jim, can Arizona be stopped? They're 5-1 against the spread. They have a +17 cover margin on average. Oregon State's 1-7 against the spread with a -8 cover margin. That doesn't seem very good. What do you think?
I think Arizona just demolishes them. I understand like there's probably the angle of Oregon State first conference game. Maybe they'll play up a little bit, hyper motivated. I just think these teams are on two different planets. Like Arizona is awesome. They're huge. They're dominant in the paint. Oregon State's a little bit shorthanded in the paint. That's supposed to be their strength, is their size and their ability to fight inside. And they don't have Vandella. Silva's out too, Matt. Is that right?
He's apparently not fully conditioned. I don't know if he had an injury or he was sick or something, but his minutes are really low. So their front court's a fraction of what it usually is.
I think Arizona's perimeter length is going to be a monster problem for Oregon State, who hasn't really scored against anybody. They got blown out at Cal. I think this is 20 plus. The Cats run away. I just think they're awesome and they're still undervalued on KenPom. Like I think they're a top 10 team and they're 19th right now. So
it could go that way. I could also see Wayne Tinkle dialing up some weird, funky zones, and the Arizona guards not quite solving it. Feels like an ugly rock fight could manifest there. I don't know. I'm really torn. I could see Oregon State winning this game. People are like, what the hell? But I also can see what Jim just mentioned, a reaffirmation that Oregon State's a bad team, continuously overvalued this year, somehow 4th in the preseason poll continues to baffle our minds. And Arizona's a top 5-ish team at this point. I don't know how it's hard to refute that given what they've done, Kai. So yeah, if you want to back Oregon State and get cute, I think you have some value now because the line's been pushed up to 13, but not where my appetite is at currently.
Yeah, this could just be a game where Oregon State's just super up. They muck it up and they somehow cover 13. I mean, it is a big spread. I agree, Jim. The scoring is impossible for Oregon State. Like they're not going to get anything inside. Arizona State's number 1 in the country in 2-point percentage defense. I don't think Oregon State shoots very well.
Arizona is enormous.
Yeah, I agree. It could be a runaway for Arizona. I'm personally staying away, but I wish you luck, Jim, if you're on the Wildcats. All right, Arizona, Oregon part 2, but it's Arizona State, and it's at regular Oregon up in Eugene. No Bagley once again. Matt Cox for Arizona State. That's an auto stay away from me for the Devils. They're coming off a 29.44 points per possession performance. That's brutal. But is there reason to believe they can cover against Oregon, who has certainly not looked like a juggernaut this far?
Yeah, I kind of like Arizona. I can't believe I'm saying this. I do like Arizona State. I think the number's a little bit inflated. I know Bagley is worth a bajillion points, and we've seen that play out not just this year, but last year. So we have like a pretty large sample of him not playing, and the dichotomy between the team they look like when he's in and when he's out. Just what he does on both ends. Can play like a small ball 4, disruptive defensively, but is a next level talent type of scorer, shot maker. Just a thing they don't have, right? The replacement value for what he offers is so high, and why you've seen them be such a disaster offensively without them. That said, Jim, I don't trust Oregon's offense to run away by 1 million. I know they did so to I'm blanking on who they played.
Montana.
By Montana.
Who's down their best guard defender.
Yeah, so take that with a grain of salt is kind of where I'm at there. I do lean Arizona State at the current number, but as we've mentioned multiple times, it is a close your eyes, turn your face type of bet for me.
I kind of lean towards the under. I think Oregon's offense is not great. I watched them really, really struggle against the length of Houston. And I mean, Houston might have the best defense in the country. So take that also with a grain of salt. But this Arizona State team is better defensively. Like they might be not good, but they're at least better defensively than they've been in the past. And they can frustrate Oregon a little bit here. And then Arizona State scoring without Bagley, also an issue against Oregon's defense. So I would lean towards the under, Kai.
Yeah, I don't have a great feel for this one. And Folly Dante is fully back in the lineup. That's great for Oregon.
He's fully back.
He's fully back in the lineup, so that's good. But yeah, I'm staying away personally. All right, chat mob round 2, then best bets. Matt, what we got?
Yep, rapid fire here. Run a little bit long. Belmont, Samford. Jim, going to you. Revenge.
We're not running that long. It's
a
half hour.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong time. Sorry. Yeah, we started at 15, not on the 0. Pardon me. Well, I'll take my time. Jim, we have Belmont against Samford today. These two teams played last year, and Samford beat Belmont, and Belmont was shocked by that. Is there a revenge situation today for the Bruins?
I think very much so. My one concern is that Belmont's off a big rivalry win, and it's a little bit of a look-ahead spot. Next game is big. I can't remember who it is, but it's like
I'll get that for you.
Power conference team. Thank you. But it's the same team as last year. I think they will. It is SLU. Okay, so yeah, it's a fairly decent-sized game for them. But yeah, I think everybody on this roster remembers the embarrassment to Samford last year. High possession game. Both teams like to run. That plays well for a motivated road favorite. And I think they will be motivated despite the schedule spot. So I lean towards Belmont, even though I think Samford is like pretty competent this year. It's just a big revenge thing for Belmont.
Yep. That's what scared me, Matt. I was leaning Samford with the number, but I was like, you know what? I'm not set in front of this train. I think Belmont just might be angry.
Yeah, that's a big angle for me. So I think it carries a lot of weight in the situation. And I'm with you. I'm not going to play Samford against that potential freight train coming on through. Next question, Minnesota at Mississippi State. Kind of a weird game, honestly, of not really that enticing non-conference showdown. Mississippi State's been very good recently, and the number's been bet up. So some people starting to pick up on what can be an emerging SEC, not power, but probably in the upper part of that tier 2 of that conference. I like the Gophers. I think the line's a little bit too high. I don't think I've done anything wrong to really justify a big move against them. What am I missing here?
I don't think you're missing anything because the total is super low, like 128, and it's a 12-point spread against Minnesota, who, sure, they're not one of the best Power 6 teams, but they're still a Power 6 team who's played, frankly, better than we expected. So 12 points in this low of a total, I'm definitely leaning towards Minnesota as well. I'm not shocked that it got bet up because Mississippi State has been good, but that's the way I'm leaning right now, Jim.
Yeah, Minnesota needs to ugly this up, keep it really, really slow. That's how they hang around. Mississippi State, on the other hand, should demolish them in the paint. Like the Minnesota front court rotation is sad. It's Curry, it's Eric Curry. And then if he gets in foul trouble, you've got Charlie Daniels, who is like ineffective at Stephen Austin.
Stephen Austin. 6'7".
Yeah, it's bleak in there. So if Garrison Brooks and Tolu Smith both get going, that's huge for Mississippi State. Stay away from me in this one, although it does seem like a decent sized number for a Minnesota team that's been quite competent. The chat says that Chase Audige is in.
Just all starting. Yeah, I was looking at my phone ski here. I apologize. I was ignoring you guys. But yes, key news there for Northwestern backers or those interested. And
hey, if you like them,
I kind of think now, yeah, I think I would hop in. Another MAC question here. Siena St. Pete. We're going to save that, though, I believe, for best bets. No?
We'll talk
about
that's right.
Best
bets.
Yep, best bets.
Okay, best bets. Thank you. Fordham St. Joe is from Space Ace. Little New York Philly show. St. John's, not St. Joe's. Yeah, I'm reading.
New York show. It's the Joel Soriano Bowl.
The Joel Soriano Bowl. That's right. Going against his former team, now in St. John's, formerly at Fordham. Fordham's a different team this year. They're playing faster. It's more guard, perimeter oriented. It seems like a team that St. John should crush, Kai, but we've said that like the last 3 games before the KU game about St. John's matchups, and they just kind of slept walk through all 3. Hard to trust them as large favorite right now.
I don't think St. John 1, 2, 3, 4. St. John's is not covered in 4 games, and they just have not looked very good. The St. Francis game is one that just sticks out to me because that team's awful, and St. John's was down at half, and they're down in the second half. So 16 points against anybody right now seems too high for the Johnnies, even if it's Fordham. I'm staying clear away in this one though. Jim.
Yeah, and we talk about Johnny's playing to their competition. They're off like a massive like get up spot for Kansas, and now they have to play Fordham. I can see them being just like, whatever, let's just go through the motions and win.
I want to highlight, Jimmy just responded to this in the chat, Peter K's comment about Minnesota being overrated because of their 3-point percentage field goal defense. It's a valid point. One I may have overlooked in my Minnesota take, so maybe tread lightly there. Just typical teams this early in the season have had opponents miss a lot of shots, and they're not known for defending the 3-point line very well. We saw Arkansas as a prime example 2 years ago. Those are usually teams that the market likes to fade, and for good reason. Anyway, back to the chat mob inquiries here. I'm seeing another Mac question about Niagara Fairfield. Kai, again, two coaches I guess we like. I mean, Greg Paulus has done yeoman's work there, and Fairfield's, I'm blanking on Jay Young. Jay Young's done a nice job. I think these beat my expectations.
I'm fine on both coaches.
Same.
Okay.
I'm lukewarm.
I lean towards Fairfield, but you have to know if Jake Wojcik is in the lineup.
Yes.
He is absolutely crucial for Fairfield's offense. I would not play them without him in the lineup.
Yeah, this is one I'm going to be. I will have the lineup page open as we approach 10 a.m. Pacific. I will probably add Niagara if Wojcik is out, and then stay away if he's in.
I don't hate that. I mean, Fairfield played, like, they fared well without him last game, but I don't think
stinks.
Canisius
really,
just a
really
bad
bad
basketball team.
Yeah, very frustrating team.
Questions. Georgetown, South Carolina, another undercard, C-list caliber power conference non-con showdown here, Jim. Just saw that Kuznard is back for the Gamecocks. That's a big boost for that lineup. They got Bryant back, I believe, 2 or 3 games ago. I don't know. I fall in love with South Carolina every year. I'm always burned. I'm sure this is where I make the guys, they're getting healthy, they're going to play better, just wait type of case. But I'm not doing that this year. I think there's value on the Gamecocks, but I'm not taking it.
I'm staying far away from Georgetown games right now. They're another play to your competition kind of team, so perhaps they get up for this one, but they have been not good this year. So good luck to anybody getting involved in this one. I'm staying far away.
South Carolina hasn't even been that bad. I think fully healthy.
They got blown out by Coastal, but that's
but they beat UAB, and that looks amazing right now. No Kuznard last game. Him back in lineup's huge. Igafay is hurt for Georgetown. I lean towards Georgetown at +5 if Kuznard was out of the lineup. Turns out he's in, so I am staying away.
There you go. Last one here, Delaware. It's a short spread. I forget who they're playing. I'm already blanking.
Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Hi, I'm in
UMBC.
Feels low, around 5. I like the Hens this year, Jim. 6. Okay, yeah, that's the cutoff for me. So if it was 5, I'd probably hop in on the Hens, but up to 6, I think some folks picked out the right side.
Feels low to me too. UMBC has had a couple blowouts that I think has inflated their KenPom and therefore market rating. Delaware's pretty good. They're not playing any bench, which is a concern, but I think they win this one.
Best bets.
There's a couple more you missed.
I missed. Okay, fire them.
Jay Rush asked Cincinnati and Bryant. Bryant just lost by 67 at Houston. 67 points they lost by. Now they play another hyper physical team. Kai, do they get demolished again?
I feel like the line is inflated partially because of that result. 16 is a lot of points, but Bryant's kind of shown they can't really hang with the power guys. So I'm staying away.
Yep. Got blown out at Clemson too, I believe. Yeah. I'm no thank you on backing Bryant against a hyper physical defense. Yeah. And then the other one, Matt, Chattanooga and Lipscomb. This one is stay away, or I guess it's Chattanooga or nothing if Asajala is out. You can't touch Lipscomb, but he is the ultimate, like,
if he's out,
7-point player for a team. So you have to keep an eye on whether Asajala is playing.
Yeah, it sounded like it was going to be a load management thing, and then he was a late scratch for the Belmont thing. So they must have been playing coy with how serious that was.
And that's a rivalry game, so like
he would have played. Right, if he was close, he would have played. You're right. So that makes me think he might be out for this one. I'm tempted to hop in here on the road favorite. Very tempted.
Like, if he's out, Chattanooga.
Yeah, Nuga's good.
Absolutely.
Nuga's very good.
That'll be another potential lineup ad. Hey, hit the like
Silvio
button.
De Sousa show. He'll dominate without Osteo. Sorry, I just had to throw that name out there. We haven't said his name on the show all year.
Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're giving back to you, chat. So just easy hit the like button. We appreciate it. All right. Yep. Best bets now. Let's
pick some winners today. I think I'm 0 for my last 4, so I'll try and stop that. I apologize. And I'm going to back another kind of bad team. And maybe I need to stop doing this, but I'm going with Cal Poly. +10 at San Diego. The Toreros are well coached. I just think they're a little bit overinflated. Their price right now in the market. I watched the Cal Poly game against Cal Bap. That was the Taryn Armstrong show, but I thought they looked pretty good. Karoman's inside's a nice little, interior bucket getter. They got some other guys that can make plays. They had Jacob Davidson return, I believe, last game. He's a big creator.
Massive for them.
Huge, right? Because that team lacks, consistent guard play. And another one where 124 is the total. Large spread, low total, favors dog. That's the equation I like to operate under. So I'm taking the Cal Polytechnic Mustangs, Jimmy.
Yeah, Matt, Karoma's been really good, and Terrell Brown was out for San Diego. He's like the big interior defender, shot blocker. Orlando Robinson had a nice game without him in there.
Huge game without,
If Brown is out again, that's big for Poly.
Yep.
Jim, how about you?
Kai, that's not the order on the outline.
Ooh,
I do the same order every outline, Jim. We're past this.
No, we're going along with the outline. You're up next. Come on.
I have no comment.
All right, I'll take Siena St. Peter's under. I think it's 124 right now. I don't know if we've teased this earlier. So fun fact here. I don't know how many years this goes back. So someone can do the math here. But whatever span of time, 10 to 20 years, whatever it is, unders are 22-9 in this matchup. Obviously, there's been several coaches changes here. Last year, these two teams played twice. One of those games was 47-40, 62 possessions. The other game was 130 combined points, which would be over. Both offenses are incredibly inefficient, talking 301st and 274th. St. Peter's is playing faster this year, which is a little bit rare for Holloway. But I don't think they're going to make this a track meet. I think Siena's going to find it very difficult to score. And Playtech being out just makes that even stronger. So Siena St. Peter's under 124 is my play.
Yeah, I think the Playtech thing is big. Oh, wow. John Doe in the chat has already declared us 0-3, and he doesn't even know what I'm betting.
Hey, it's John Doe.
What a guy, John Doe. What a positive contributor. What a great guy.
Hey, he punked us yesterday, so he's 1-0. I'll give it to him.
My best bet is VMI, Keydets, +7, taking on Seattle in Seattle, but this is at Climate Pledge Arena, where we saw Gonzaga and Alabama play yesterday. This is not at the on-campus home of the Red Hawks. I think that helps the dog. The Keydets also got point guard Trey Bonham back last game. That's big. They won at Portland. I think they can absolutely hang around here and potentially even win outright. I'm in on the Keydets tonight, boys. Let's go VMI.
With you.
Go VMI indeed. Yeah, Bonham back.
With
Love
you.
it. Go VMI. That's it, guys. Again, please subscribe to the channel. Field of 68 best bets before you go. Hit the like button on your way out. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy some college hoops. We are off tomorrow on Monday. Not a very big slate of games. Not much to talk about. Tuesday, we are back. Noon Central is the time. Be on the lookout for our link at 3MW_CBB is our Twitter handle. We will see you on Tuesday.